Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Friday, May 22nd, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, yesterday you got your TrendsJournal. History before it happens. There's no magazine like it anywhere. And if you're not subscribing to the print edition, you're missing out. And you don't want those miss-outs. TrendsJournal, Trends Monthly, Trends This Week, Trends in the News. And coming up very shortly, another Trends Seminar. Again, we're doing everything we can to give you as much as we can. So please let us know what you think of the TrendsJournal, feedback, suggestions. We want to hear it all. On to the news. Woof! Boom! Shoo! Those Chinese markets, boy, were they red hot overnight. Shanghai shares on a tear. Yeah, mainland shares took the limelight on Friday with the Shanghai Composite clinching a fresh 7-year peak, while markets in Japan edged up to finish the week at their highest level in 15 years because of the slow growth, the lower exports, lessening imports, a housing bubble. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan maintained its expansionary monetary stimulus at the conclusion of a 2-day meeting on Friday. The central bank kept policy steady last month, but cut its forecast for economic growth in its outlook statement. Oh, perfect. Cut its estimate for growth and still juicing the markets. And the Chinese market went up because the index surged 2.8% as, quote, unused funds from recent new share listings have been repositioned back into the domestic market. And because they're shoveling more cheap dough into it and driving the equity markets up. It's the same thing everywhere. Here in the States, the markets, they're at basically near their daily low, closing down some 50 points. And oil's down today because yesterday it was up. So, of course, it doesn't make any sense, but why should it? And gold is flat. The big news in the States, of course, was Chairperson Yellen. And she said a U.S. interest rate hike will be appropriate this year if the economy improves. The central banker who delivered the speech said it will take, quote, ready for this? Several years for rates to normalize. Several years. They have not raised interest rates in nearly 10 years. We've had 0-point interest rates for 78 months. And now they're talking several years. Quote, if the economy continues to improve as I expect, I think it will be appropriate at some point, whichever that is, this year to take the initial step to raise the Fed funds rate target and begin the process of normalizing monetary policy. To support taking this step, though, I will need to see continued improvement in the labor market, and I will need to be reasonably confident that inflation will move back to 2% over the medium term. This whole thing about inflation is a big joke. The inflation numbers are a lie. The job numbers are a lie. Oh, I'm not saying that. Hey, remember that guy from Gallup? The president of Gallup said the job numbers were a lie? Hey, but I need to see, she says. Yep. So, what are we looking at? It's screw the little people 2.0. Keeping these rates low, pension funds have nowhere to put their money in. People have nowhere to put their money in banks and get any return on it. And it's just going to keep juicing the markets. Again, what did they do? They bought $3.5 trillion worth of bonds and mortgage-backed securities with their quantitative easing deal, record low interest rates, and it's only helping the richest of the rich because home sales falter. Sales of previously owned homes fell in April. Existing home sales declined 3.3% last month from March. So what? Who cares? It's only people do every day. They can't afford to buy the things. So what are we looking at? We're looking at more of the same. You start looking at the retail numbers coming in. Gap, down. Best Buy, it's good news that it's flat, their growth. One after another, the numbers are soft. So they're going to keep this Ponzi scheme going. And keeping it going is right over there today. Obama's trade bill clears a key Senate hurdle by a 62 to 38 vote. A solid phalanx of Republicans and more than a dozen Democrats voted to advance President Obama's Trans-Pacific Partnership bill that robs us of our rights. Quote, "It was a nice victory. We're going to continue to finish up the bill this week," Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, said. And from El Presidente, the liar-in-chief, the traitor to America, who during his campaign in 2007 said he would revisit NAFTA. He told the people up in the Rust Belt that, and then lied it out immediately. Every one of these people, these candidates that promise and break their promises are traitors. And they should be brought up for treason. But hey, I'm the commander-in-chief or commander-in-chief, and I could do what I like. And Hillary, not a peep from her, and all those little Weasley liberals, the better of two evil people who like their evil over light, let them get a free ride, not a peep from them. The Senate action to move forward a final vote, quote, was a big step forward, Obama said at the White House. And just to show you what this means, a House committee has voted to get rid of labels on packages of meat that say where the animals were born and raised. They repealed the country of origin labeling law for beef, pork, and poultry. Just 2 days after the World Trade Organization ruled against parts of the law, the labels tell consumers what countries the meat is from. For example, born in Canada, raised and slaughtered in the United States, or born, raised, and slaughtered in the United States, according to the World Trade Organization. We can't have that. We are not allowed to know where our meat came from, or pork or poultry. And that's what the Trans-Pacific Partnership is going to be in spades. Robbing us, we the people, of all our rights. But many of the U.S. in the meat industry, agribusiness, including meat processors who buy animals from abroad, have called the repeal of the law, called for the repeal of the law, which they have fought for years, including unsuccessfully in federal court. Now, the federal court means nothing. Hey, it never meant anything yesterday. You remember what happened, or you forgot. You remember the Attorney General, or you forgot that what she did? Holder's replacement, another hand of Holder. Yeah. Here's the facts. 5 major international banks pleaded guilty to felony charges. Felony charges. And quote, a criminal conspiracy on a massive scale carried out with, quote, breathtaking flagrancy, and not one head rolled. But hey, don't get caught stealing anything out of a store 3 times. No. Here's some of the numbers. According to the American Bar Association, there are more than 300 people serving sentences of life without parole for shoplifting. Oh yeah, ruin the lives of millions of people, foreclose on their homes illegally, destroy the economy, steal our money to make them bigger, and they get a slap on the wrist or dinner at the White House. Yep. A worker can be thrown in jail for failing to show up for court date. And how about all those people that are in jail for not paying child care? Countless thousands of men in prison because they don't have the dough to pay for child support. But the big guys get a free ride. It's fascism. And speaking of which, criminality globally. Brazil economy, scandal shakes leader. Cabinet shakeup in Guatemala. Wide-ranging corruption case. One after another. And how about those French, huh? Can't get over their French Sudan trip? French troops kill top militant in Mali. Yeah, another dead militant, and now everything is okay. Everybody's talking about wars, war on terror, war on drugs. How about a war on war? Let's end these wars. Because Obama, I don't think we're losing to ISIS. That's what he said, quote. He dubbed the fall of Ramadi, quote, a tactical setback. But, and now there's news that they're talking about putting boots on the ground. Yeah, but you remember how all this started? Go back a year ago. Listen to the president. Lie to us one more time.
We've begun operations to help save Iraqi civilians stranded on the mountain. And these terrorists have been especially barbaric towards religious minorities, including Christian and Yazidis, and enslaving Yazidi women. Meanwhile, ISIL forces below have called for the systematic destruction of the entire Yazidi people. So these innocent families are faced with a horrible choice: descend the mountain and be slaughtered, or stay and slowly die of thirst and hunger. So let me be clear about why we must act, and act now. When we face a situation like we do on that mountain, then I believe the United States of America cannot turn a blind eye. I know that many of you are rightly concerned about any American military action in Iraq. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not allow the United States to be dragged into fighting another war in Iraq. My fellow Americans, America has made the world a more secure and prosperous place.
No military involvement. You know what this is going to be? A limited number of U.S. military specialists on Iraqi battlefields to target airstrikes on the extremists. And it'll work perfectly. Again, all the U.S. military is another branch of bureaucratic government. They are losers, like the Environmental Defense Agency, like health care, one after another. But they get a free ride because they're the military, and Americans love guys in uniform. And listen to Obama's speech. He was going to save them Yazidis. That's all that was about. Let me be clear. When we face a situation like we do on that mountain, then I believe the United States of America cannot turn a blind eye. Yeah, but he'll bring you a forked tongue. That's all he does. I know you were concerned about military action in Iraq. Yep. You bet we are, and we got it. Another week, Another string of lies. From Yellen to Obama, from Bush to Clinton. That's right, Bush and Clinton, Jeb and Hillary. They're out there, the main stars in the presidential reality show. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.